Hi everyone, it's Chrissie and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we're actually in the world of Henford-on-Bagley. Yes, we're building for my save file finally. Honestly, I don't think I've done a single build for my save in Henford-on-Bagley. I know I did that big off-the-grid farm build for Henford-on-Bagley, but originally I built that in Copperdale and just moved it to Henford-on-Bagley. So yeah, I don't think I've done any builds in this world for my save yet. At least not ones that are on the channel. So yeah, I've been working on a couple, but they're not done yet. So they haven't been on the channel yet, obviously. But today we're actually building a home for a sim that basically she's a brand new sim, but obviously she's a brand new sim. But she ties into one of the pre-existing families in the world. Now, before I get too much into that, I do just want to say that I am still set up in the living room of our house. And if you guys have seen either of my past two live streams, you kind of know what my setup looks like at the moment. And I just wanted to mention that because our neighbors, both to the side of our house as well as to the front, like across the street, they have people there doing some sort of construction or whatever. So if you guys hear any loud background noises, I am sorry about that. Hopefully my mic won't pick it up because everything is closed, so it shouldn't. But yeah, just as a little bit of a heads up. But yeah, so getting back to this sim. So we're building on the, the 3 Cobblebottom Street lot, I believe. I think this is a lot where originally there used to be, I believe, a starter home. I think. I could be wrong, but there used to be at least an empty house, I guess you could say. So there wasn't any people living here. But basically, we're building on a 20 by 20 lot in the, what is it called? The Finchwick? I believe, yeah, the Finchwick area of Henford-on-Bagley. I have to look at my notes because I built this build a couple of weeks ago, I want to say, maybe even last month. And yeah, so a lot of the finer details aren't actually in my head anymore, if that makes sense. But I wanted to do something in this very kind of almost British or basically British English cottage type style, old stone brick building, very kind of almost square looking, with a couple of these almost bay window type spaces out the front. I apologize, my dog just started barking. I'm not going to pause this voiceover to tell him to be quiet because he's going to keep doing that, so yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, so I wanted to do something in this very kind of if you Google British cottage or British country cottage or even just country cottage or stone country cottage, a lot of pictures like this one will pop up because I did look at a couple of reference pictures. I didn't one-on-one copy any pictures that I saw or try to recreate any of the houses. I kind of just took inspiration for the shape of it. And then I had to wing it. So figuring out the floor plan for this build was a pain. Even though in the video it probably looked really, really easy because I cut out 20 different attempts that I did to actually do the floor plan. Because it is very square or rectangular. And I don't know if you guys have ever built a house like this, but doing a build that's very square or rectangular is a lot harder than doing a build or doing a floor plan for a house that has a bunch of weird shapes or bump outs or extensions or wings or whatever, because those areas you can kind of section them off and make them into a room. They kind of lend themselves well to maybe being a bedroom or a bathroom or a office or whatever. Whereas when you're working with a very square / rectangular build, you have basically a big box to work with. And that wasn't easy because for this house, I didn't want to just make the entire first floor a big open plan house because it's supposed to be an older house. It's supposed to be an older, very British cottage. And I don't know if you guys have ever looked at floor plans for houses like that, but they tend to not be very open plan unless they've been heavily remodeled, which Obviously this one has that more, like, I guess you could say recent extension to the back that ends up being a greenhouse. Some of it is definitely, some of it has definitely been remodeled, like the bathrooms, which I don't think I show in this video. Like I said, I did this like last month, the build, and I edited the video. Honestly, I can't remember when I edited this video. It might have been earlier in the week, might have been last week, but truthfully, I have no idea what I did. So I've worked on quite a few builds in between doing that and doing this voiceover. So like, I have no memory of what I did, like whatsoever. So as I'm watching this video back to do the voiceover, I'm kind of going to be surprised right along with you guys. But yeah, so for example, with the more like remodeled aspects of it, like the bathrooms, I didn't want to make the bathrooms look like they've come out of like the 18th century or something. So I wanted them to look like they've been remodeled. The kitchen is very rustic and homey and like country vibes, but obviously it would have been remodeled at some point. The bedroom, like the main bedroom, this is a 2-bedroom and 3-bathroom house, by the way. There is a 3rd bedroom upstairs that's kind of like an awkward, smaller, weird shape that could very easily be like a small 3rd bedroom, maybe for an infant or a nursery or whatever. But I actually used that room and furnished it as a little like home office art studio kind of vibe, just because of the sim that I'm having living here in my save file, which I will talk about in a second. But like I said, there is 2 bedrooms and there's only one sim living here. There's one sim living here with her 3 big dogs whose names unfortunately I cannot remember. But the 2nd bedroom I actually just furnished as a guest room. It's very basic, very plain. I honestly, I don't even know if I kept it in the footage because it is just a guest bedroom. There's no personality in it whatsoever. And I only did that because I figured, maybe she has friends that sometimes comes to stay with her, or maybe, maybe her sister comes to stay with her. I highly doubt it, because I don't think her sister would be caught dead in Henford-on-Bagley like ever again, which again I will get into. But I also figured that this sim would be one of those people where if she has a friend that needs a place to stay for a day or a week or even a month, she would completely be open to like just giving them her 2nd bedroom and just letting them stay there for however long they needed. So she does keep a 2nd bedroom. She has it set up as a bedroom and she's using the smaller room for her office, art studio and stuff like that. That's just kind of the person that she is. But yeah, so like I said, I don't know, I can't remember if I kept the 2nd bedroom's furnishing in the video, but we'll see when we get there. But yeah, so this is a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. There's 2 bathrooms upstairs. One of them is an ensuite. The other one, I can't remember if the one downstairs is a full bathroom or not. I believe it is, otherwise I wouldn't have written it down as 3 bathrooms. So I believe the one downstairs is a full bathroom as well. But downstairs, when you walk into the house, you have a tiny little hallway with the staircase leading upstairs. That leads you into the formal dining room, and then at the back it leads you into the living room, and then the kitchen is kind of like off of both rooms, which we're actually working on right now. Now, as you can see, I did definitely go for a very country, very country vibe. I used a lot of the the country kitchen, the country kitchen kit, as well as the cottage living items, and just I also used quite a few things from Parenthood just because it has that very like homey family vibe. And even though this sim doesn't have any kids, she's child free. She has 3 dogs who are like her children, and she likes cooking. She likes making stuff and baking, and she loves living in the countryside. In my head, her family, they're from Henford-on-Bagley, they grew up here, and she has lived here her whole life. So maybe they used to live on a big farm and she just moved into town when it was just her or whatever. But yeah, she absolutely loved this house, and like I said, she has remodeled some parts of it over the years and as she's felt like it, but this is very much like her style, like this mix of, I guess you could say suburban country vibes, as well as, obviously there's a lot of vintage and vintage older stuff thrown in there as well. But yeah, so this sim is actually a interior decorator. That is her career. She's an interior decorator, and she's actually the sister of Judith Ward. So Judith Ward from Dalsall Valley, like the very famous actress that lives in the Bluffs area of of Dalsall Valley, who's like, I did her mansion a few years ago, and it was the total and complete opposite of this house. It was very modern, very like red, white, black, blue, like red, white, and black, very like modern, very famous celebrity mansion type vibes. Total opposite of this house, and basically anything else in Henford-on-Bagley as a whole. But yeah, so the sim that lives here, her name is Edith Ward. So we have Judith and Edith Ward. And I can't remember if Judith or Edith is the older sibling. I think Judith is the older sibling, I think, if I am remembering correctly. Yeah, I think Judith is the older sibling. I'm literally going through my spreadsheet right now, yeah, to check their ages. And yeah, Edith is the younger sibling. But like Judith, she has never chosen to have kids. Judith probably for a whole like bunch of other reasons that has more to do with her career, I think, than not wanting to be a parent. Whereas Edith is more like, she just never felt called to be a mom. And that is totally fine. Like, personally, I feel like if you don't want to have children, you don't have to have children. Like, you don't. So yeah, so she just never felt like being a mom, and she prefers animals to people, even though she is in a career where she does work with people a lot, and she is close to a lot of people. She's a very outgoing person, but she just never felt like, raising children. And she has, like I said, 3 dogs. In my head, she probably adopts a lot of strays, and that is actually how she got all 3 of her dogs. They were all strays that she adopted. And whether she got them from shelters or just from around the neighborhood and raised them herself, she is very much a dog person. She loves animals. I believe her aspiration is actually the country caretaker one, and she's an animal enthusiast. So while she lives in this kind of like the center of town, I honestly, I debated on whether I wanted her to live on a farm or not. But because she's just one sim, and because I didn't want her to have basically I didn't want her to be a farmer, if that makes sense, as her career. I wanted her to have I guess you could say, quote unquote, like professional career outside of the house. And I didn't feel like it would be realistic, or like she would have time, especially with how demanding it is to take care of animals in The Sims 4, like farm animals, all of that stuff. I didn't feel like she would have the time to take care of an entire farm as well as have an outside career, if that makes sense. So she loves her career. She actually went to university. She studied art history. She loves being a decorator and is like interior designer. It's like what she's always wanted to be. But she also loves animals, like I said. So this house is kind of I guess you could say like a nice middle ground. So in my head, she's in the center of town because it's easier to work from the center of town. Like, if you think commute wise, it's probably easier to commute from the center of town to wherever she's working than it is to go from the outskirts of like the farm areas to wherever she needs to be. And maybe she bought this house as one of her first projects, and that's why some parts of it are still a lot more older and traditional, almost vintage looking, whereas other parts of it are a little bit more modern. There's a couple more like, I guess, modern pieces, like those living chairs in the dining room, and maybe like the fancy TV up on the fireplace. That picture TV is obviously a little bit more modern. And then her bedroom as well is definitely a little bit more like, I guess you could say, fully renovated in some way. And this is her style. She likes this more like country style as well. But I figured maybe this house used to be like very old and almost falling apart, and she's kind of been fixing it up as she goes and as she's felt like it. So yeah, that's why I wanted to go for like a little mix of styles and, you know, all of that stuff, and why some of it looks maybe a little bit more run down than other parts, and, you know, all of that stuff. So yeah, but I do figure that she is probably very busy because, like I said, she does have a career. She has 3 dogs at home, and because she's in the center of town, I didn't feel like I could give her like a cow or a llama or stuff like that. I didn't feel like that would fit her either. Like I said, she probably doesn't have the time to take care of animals that require that much attention. But she does have a chicken coop in the backyard, and in my save I do give her a couple of chickens, so she does have them. And then she does have a little garden as well, so obviously she has that greenhouse at the back, and then I do put some planters and stuff like that outside as well. So I figured, you know, she does enjoy tending to her garden and growing a lot of her own fruits and vegetables and all of that stuff. So yeah, she is definitely the complete opposite of her sister. Like, Judith would never be caught dead doing gardening or getting her hands dirty in soil or taking care of chickens or anything like that. That is just not her at all. She is like her sister, she does love dogs. You know, Judith, in my save, I did give her 2 dogs. I believe 2 dogs or 3 dogs. I think it was just 2. But they were I think they were Pomeranians, if I remember correctly. But they're very much like a, you know, small, in the house, kind of like pampered, you know, wear little outfits kind of dogs, if that makes sense. They fit Judith, they fit Judith's personality. Whereas Edith's dogs, like I said, they were strays, they've been rescued, they're big dogs, all 3 of them. And they're messy and they're loud, and, you know, she loves that. So I didn't show me furnishing the little back, not back porch, but like the back mudroom off of the kitchen. But in there is where I put the laundry machines. I also put the dog food bowls and some dog clutter in there as well. And I actually have these little like muddy paw print decals that actually go on the floor. I have those leading up to the dog bowls and like leading out through the back door and through the greenhouse to the outside, you know, kind of like the dogs have trekked in some mud over the couple of days since she last cleaned, and, you know, it's just, it happens. So stuff like that, Judith would have a fit if that happened in her house, whereas Edith is just like, it's the dogs, they're going to do that, you know, it's fine, I'll clean it up later kind of vibe, which I absolutely love. Now, we've actually moved on to her bedroom, and as you can see, I wanted to try out some different things. So she has a little bit more of a modern bed, but then I used this chair, or this couch from, I think, yeah, it's from Cats and Dogs, and I used it as a headboard, used a couple of the Modern Luxe kit pillows as well to make like a little custom bed, which does work. I did playtest it, it works perfectly fine. But yeah, so her bedroom is definitely a little bit more pink and girly than the rest of the house. So there's a lot of pink, there's a lot of white, whereas the rest of the house is more like just country, light, airy vibes. Her bedroom is very much like very pink and girly, and, you know, she does like stuff like that. She likes, you know, nice clothes and stuff, but she doesn't really pay as much attention to it as Judith does. So, you know, she is similar to her sister, but she's also very different, let's just put it that way. And like I said earlier, I do think that they grew up in Henford-on-Bagley, and, you know, obviously Judith grew up here as well. But unlike her sister, you know, when she went off to college, you know, Edith obviously went off to college as well. They went to university, all of that stuff. But then Edith moved back and, you know, maybe got this house or whatever, and she continued to live in Henford-on-Bagley. Whereas Judith, you know, as soon as she got her college degree, she was just like gone like the wind, moved to Del Sol Valley. In my head, she probably hasn't been back since. And she and her sister maybe had, in my head, they probably had like a big falling out, whether that was, you know, when they were still younger, maybe when they were at college, maybe it happened when Judith decided that she never wanted to be back in Henford-on-Bagley and she moved. Maybe that's when they had their falling out. Maybe it was when their parents passed or whatever. But in my head, you know, they haven't really been on speaking terms at all. So maybe recently they've kind of started mending fences as they've gotten older, maybe. And you know, that's why Edith keeps her second bedroom nice and set up, hoping that Judith might come to visit or whatever. But yeah, Judith just does not like Henford-on-Bagley. She just doesn't. She doesn't like the outdoors. She doesn't like animals. She doesn't like farm smells, I guess you could say, or anything like that. And growing up on a farm, because I do figure that they would have grown up on a proper farm, it just, she never wanted to be back there, if that makes sense. So yeah, they're very different, but you know, I absolutely love this sim. I really want to play with her at some point as well. But yeah, if you guys want to download this build, it is up on the gallery. It's completely custom content free. My gallery ID is just ChrissieYT. It's always in the description. I'll have a download link to the gallery website down there as well. Tray files obviously will be up for channel members, and then in 3 weeks they'll be up on Tumblr for everyone to download if you want to wait for that, if you can't access the gallery for whatever reason. But yeah, so that is basically this entire build, you guys. We're going to be doing a little bit of work outside. We're first going to work on the little greenhouse bit, which, you know, I absolutely love the way this greenhouse turned out. I knew that when I started this build, or when I was planning out some of the Henford-on-Bagley builds, that I wanted a lot of these like older cottage, you know, stone English cottages, and I wanted them to, at least some of them, to have a like extension with the greenhouse haven kit that's being turned into either a greenhouse or a screened-in porch, or, you know, maybe a sunroom or whatever, you know, obviously depending on the family. And for this one, I knew I had to make it a greenhouse, so I absolutely love the way it turned out. And there's, like I said, a lot of plants in here. I have some plants outside as well, which, like I said, she enjoys growing her own fruits and vegetables. There's some flowers in there because she does have a little flower arranging station as well. So she does do that from time to time. But yeah, she loves all things like outdoorsy animals. She likes art as well, obviously, which hence, you know, obviously the art room and her being an interior decorator. But yeah, there's a lot, like I said, is up on the gallery. It has the Great Soil, Gnomes, and Chef's Kitchen lot traits because she does like cooking, like I mentioned. And it turned out to be almost 125,000 simoleons. So yeah, quite expensive. But considering, you know, she's a fairly well-off interior designer and her family did used to own a farm, maybe when her parents passed, they obviously sold the big farm, and you know, maybe that's how they went to college. Maybe they passed just before they went to university, and that's how they paid for university or whatever, or afterwards, you know, doesn't matter, whatever storyline you guys want to go with. But you know, maybe when they sold that big farm, you know, obviously Edith got a nice portion of the money, and that's how she bought this place. Maybe she got this place for a steal because it was old and kind of falling apart, and you know, she got it for cheap. She was able to renovate some of it, and she's slowly been adding to it, you know, like I said. But yeah, you guys can decide all of that stuff. And yeah, if you want to play with this yourself, I will have Edith up on the gallery as well, in case you guys want to download her as like a standalone sim, obviously. And yeah, you can play with her however you like, however you want to go with her storyline or whatever. And then obviously my members, my channel members, my tier 2 and 3 channel members, they have access to an early access version of my save that already has Edith and her house and her relationships with her sister and all of that stuff set up. So yeah, if you haven't checked out that yet, click on the little join button if you want to read more about it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we're going to go ahead and jump on into a tour in the game, and I'm going to show you guys around a little bit because I did cut out some things that I didn't show in the video, but I kind of want to show you in the build itself. So we're gonna go ahead, jump on into the game and have a look around. Okay, so here we are in the game with the finished build, and I just wanted to show you guys her dogs really quickly. So this is Edith. She definitely looks a lot like Judith, obviously, because I did, you know, reuse their genetics to make them look similar. But this is Edith, and these are her 3 puppies. So she has a little pit bull called Maggie. She has, I believe Hunter is a border collie. I can't remember. And then we have, for the life of me, cannot remember Peanut Butter's breed. But yeah, so she has Maggie, Hunter, and Peanut Butter. So yeah, those are her 3 puppies. And this is her house. Now, I'm going to give you guys a show. I'll show you guys around the exterior first. Now, in my save, I do already have plants and stuff set up and planted and all of that stuff. Obviously not in this version. But yeah, she has a little chicken coop. She has some more planters around the side with the grill, a little picnic bench. A lot of, I used a lot of decorative plants as well to make it look like, you know, these are flowers and stuff that she's planted. Maybe this is an avocado tree that's not big enough yet to like plant in the ground. So it's just, you know, in a little pot. There's a little toy box for the dogs. And this is technically a food bowl in the game. But I figured, you know, realistically it would probably maybe be like a water bowl or something. And then right at the back we actually have her greenhouse space that has, instead of having glass, I just have it like as a screened in porch almost, which I don't know, I like the way that looked a little bit better. So in here we have her flower arranging station, like little propagation thingies going, and you know, some more storage. You know, she has a little old music or old radio in here to maybe listen to music while she's out here. Here are those muddy dog paw prints that I told you about leading into the house. So yeah, this is the little mud room at the back that I didn't show me furnishing, but this is where I have the thermostat, where the dog food bowls are, just some storage and stuff, where I also have the laundry machines as well. Now let's move back to the front and I'll start at the beginning. So you come in, you have a little entryway, we have a little tiny hallway that leads upstairs, and then we have a door that leads you into the formal dining room. So this is where obviously she would entertain, you know, all of that stuff. Maybe this used to be the living room, but she decided that she wanted to swap the rooms because that one is bigger. So, you know, she has a dining room right at the front, with, you know, obviously some more older furniture, older wallpaper, but then some more modern chairs, you know, modern touches, like I said. And then through this door, we actually have the living room. Now, the living room is a very weird shape, especially with where I have the fireplace placed, but I wanted them to be like back to back, so I didn't want to like move the fireplace. So yeah, the living room ended up being a very weird shape. So we have a couch right in the windows over there. We have a little corner couch over there. We have a piano because I did want to include that, because she does like playing the piano as well. I have a little cross-stitch basket. And then there's just a lot of open space because keep in mind she does have 3 big dogs. So there is one big pet bed, but I figured, you know, she probably wouldn't mind having the dogs on the furniture. So yeah, there's also a lot of open space for them to play and lay down and all of that stuff. So yeah, that is our living room for Edith. And then both through the dining room and through the living room, you can access the kitchen as well. So in the kitchen, she does have a little tiny breakfast table, which is probably the table that she uses the most when it's just her. But yeah, we have a little cooking spot, a little stove area over there. And then we have the fridge and all of the other counters over in this corner. I did build this before we had the Home Chef Hustle stuff back. But honestly, I mean, she probably would have a waffle maker, to be fair. I could probably put one maybe on one of the corner counters. But I don't see her making pizzas, or maybe I do. I don't know. But there isn't really space for it, unless I deleted some stuff. But she obviously wouldn't have the very modern kitchen set. But yeah, anyway, I digress. I built this before we had that stuff back, in any case. But it's a nice big, almost like galley style kitchen that obviously, you know, leads into the mudroom, that leads outside. And then through these doors, I did playtest them, you know, having the aprons hung up on it. It still works. So in here we have a full bathroom almost. We just have a shower, a toilet, and a sink. Not a shower, a tub, a toilet, and a sink. And this is actually where I figured, you know, she would probably use this bathroom more for like... This isn't a bathroom that guests would use. Maybe they use the toilet, but they wouldn't like bathe here because there is another full bathroom upstairs. So, you know, this is basically where she would wash her dogs. So in my head, these are all like dog shampoos and all of that stuff. This is kind of like the dog's bathroom, basically. Now, going upstairs, we have a little family picture of her and her doggos. We also have a little reading nook because I do figured, you know, maybe she does enjoy some reading. We have a little rocking chair, a little knitting basket, a lot of books, obviously. And then we just have a little hallway, some more dog toys, a very vintage looking standing mirror. And then the first door that you get to is actually her office space. That chair is clipping. I need to fix that. But yeah, so she has a couple of art easels. She has a little desk over here in the corner, a very vintage painted yellow desk, which I love. So yeah, very cluttered as well. Very like cluttered, cramped little office, but I feel like she would love that. Now, her main bedroom is actually this one, which a little different from the rest of the house, but not too different. But yeah, it's a little bit brighter, a little bit more pink, and a little bit more renovated, I guess you would say. Some more modern items in here that I love. I love her little vanity in front of the windows, her bed with the little custom headboard that I made. I did playtest the bed, like I said, it does work. And then through these doors, we actually have her ensuite bathroom. So she has a nice little claw-footed tub right in front of the windows, which, considering this is the front of the house, probably might not be ideal. But, you know, that's why she has the curtains that in theory would be able to close all the way around. And it is probably high enough up that people wouldn't be able to see in, you know, hopefully. Plus, it's The Sims, they don't care. So, yeah, she has her bathtub, a little nice sink area, has obviously toilet, shower, all of the regular bathroom stuff. Now, next to her bedroom is where we have that guest bedroom that, honestly, like I said, I cannot remember if I showed it in the speed build. I just finished watching it, but I still can't remember. So, yeah, in here we just have a very basic, not very personalized bedroom. You know, like I said, just supposed to be a guest bedroom. And then off of the hallway, we have another full bathroom, which this is probably the one, like I said, that guests would use if they're staying over with her, you know, maybe visiting or whatever. That's the one that they would use. And then the one downstairs is more for the dogs than anything else. Yeah, so I'm going to give you guys a quick little top-down view of the house. So upstairs, we do have those two dormers as well that I put in, but they're not functional. They're just for aesthetics. But yeah, here's a little floor plan shot of the house with the grid on, in case you guys wanted to see that. And like I said, the build is up on the gallery if you want to download it as well. But yeah, so that is the entire build, you guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, give the video a like. If you're new to the channel and want to see some more Sims content, feel free to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell as well to be notified of whenever I upload a new video. And like I said, if you want to download it, it is up on the gallery. All of that information will be in the description as usual, along with, you know, the regular build information, price, lot placement, you know, all of that stuff. I believe this is the lot where the Scott family originally lives. So I believe like Sarah and, honestly, I can't remember her husband's name. I think it's Simon or something. But where the Scotts originally live, I will be moving them to another lot. So yeah, this is just where Edith now lives. But yeah, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this. And as usual, a huge thank you to my channel members. If you guys want to find out more about how you can become a channel member and what all of those perks and stuff include, random game pop-up there. But yeah, if you guys want to find out more about all of that stuff, click on the little join button next to the subscribe button, or you can go to the description. There is a link in the description as well that you can follow if you want to find out more about that. Or of course, you can always ask me in the comments if, you know, there's something specific that you want to know about or something that you're not sure about. As always, let me know down in the comments. And yeah, hope you're all having a great day and a great week, and I'll talk to you all in my very next video. Bye everyone.